Y'all can count your lucky stars. You got the short version. What do you think? Merry Christmas. Do you mind if I tell you a story? Then I'll tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Ching. When she was born, her parents ruled over a vast kingdom. For centuries, her royal family provided stable leadership to their kingdom. Ching remembers a cheerful and carefree childhood which she shared with her older brother, who was her best friend and her companion. And she remembers that bell. That bell's ring had etched its sound inside her brain. And it had etched on the side of it her name, Ching. And every morning her brother would come into her room, wake her up by ringing it. "Wake up, Ching," he would say. "The dawn awaits. It's a new day. We all love you. How will you share it?" Ching was always inspired by that little chime. It echoed through her room as she enjoyed the abundance of her life, the peacefulness, the tranquility, where no one fought and everybody had enough. These were majestic memories for her and her brother that would all at once become wrapped up, boxed up, and hastily locked up on that dark and dastardly day when the barbarians appeared. These were a murderous and villainous tribe whose greed and violence and thirst and domination knew no bounds. The swift and brutal campaign against Ching's calm and quiet kingdom lasted but a few days, forcing the royal family to flee in darkness with little more than their lives. Trekking at night weeks through the jungle, evading search parties of determined barbarians, the royal family lived under constant pressure and fear. One night, sensing imminent danger, the family located a small village and an orphanage, and in the middle of the night, while Ching slept, her family laid her tiny frame at the doorstep of that orphanage before fleeing back into the jungle. The next morning, Chi awakened, scared, cold, hungry, and in the midst of a crowded, dirty, and smelly orphanage. Where was her family? Where was her brother? Well, moments later, a gruff, angry man with a small, frowning wife appeared at that orphanage. Before she knew it, Ching was taken away by this couple to the edge of town and to a small, dingy, one-room house with a dirt floor, thatched roof, smoky fireplace in the middle. The couple changed Ching's name to Girl. Her clothes were replaced with the uniform of the impoverished village, rough, worn fabric and earth tones as she was introduced to her new life. She was giving chores, lots of them, fetching water, tending the fire, sweeping the floor, preparing meals. This she did under the stern glare of the man and the critical judgment of that woman, for they did not treat her like a daughter, but like a servant, which she now was. And as she got to know her work, she got to know her minders, she got to learn their habits, how they saw themselves, how they saw the world around them. They were a beaten down, subjugated people. They knew not to question the authorities, for the leadership of the region seemed to change with the seasons. So they learned to go along, to get along. Oh, sure, a girl had rebelled a couple of times, giving her opinion, doing what she wanted to do, but this was always met with harsh discipline. "Do as you're told," shouted the man, as he used his switch quite generously on her backside. And so Girl learned that if she was going to get the approval she wanted, maybe not love, but maybe just acceptance and belonging, she quickly learned to do what she was told, when she was told. Humans will do almost anything to be loved. So as the years went by, Girl absorbed these patterns, the patterns of village life. She took on the persona, the habits, the values that would impart to her the most peace and acceptance. And as she came of age, her minders found a suitable husband. Of course, she had no choice, and she didn't have much of opinion about her fiancé. So the wedding date was set, for the following spring. It was at this time that the village began to talk. After so many years, the barbarians had found themselves unable to quell a popular uprising, and a formidable rebellion was sweeping the countryside. Then one day, these victorious rebels came marching through that little village with their horses and their carts and their weapons, and everyone came out to watch, for the barbarians had been vanquished. Girl would remember that day forever. She recalled looking up at one particular man on a white horse. It was her brother. Girl rushed to embrace him. He swept her up onto the back of his steed, and immediately she left everything behind and joined the march, riding on to a town that all of a sudden seemed familiar. She soon found herself climbing stairs, entering a palace. What was this place? Why do I seem to have been here before? Girl knew she recognized it. When she went into what was once her bedroom, the feelings got stronger: walls, furniture, doorways, and then the moment it all came back. When that bell rang, the one with her name on it, to change. Wave after wave of suppressed memories, waterlogged remembrances returned. The box had been unlocked, the wrapping was coming off, and who she was, what she was, began to reappear. Tiching was not the village servant, working from dawn to dusk for people who did not love her as much as tolerate her. She was not the beaten-down victim who had little choice even when it came to choosing a mate. She was now rediscovering who she really was, as it was being sung to her by her brother. Wake up, Tiching. The dawn awaits. It is a new day. Everyone here loves you. All you have to do now is to share. Welcome, my friends, to Christmas. It's been quite a year. We have endured, we've been exposed to much. It can feel like our world has been taken over by marauding forces who are turning things upside down. So we do the best we can, which is never perfect, to adapt. We can alter our identities to fit in, to be liked, to be accepted, even if it means not being ourselves. We can become like this scared and indentured Tiching, who had found herself far from home and forgotten who she really was. But on this holy night, the Christ child of Christmas has appeared to show us the way, the truth, and the light, exposing things, revealing things, our true identities. For you are not what the world's influences have patterned you into. You are not the dull, drab, and dreary clothing you've been made to wear. You are not destined to live enslaved to a lifestyle you don't want and you did not choose. For upon that white horse, Brother Jesus appears, stretching out that hand, beckoning us to climb aboard and rediscover anew who we really are. For the true light that enlightens everyone has come into the world. Christmas tells the universe, I love you so much, I will not stand by and watch you hurt, hunger, fight, and suffer. I am finished sending angels, dreams, prophets, and signs. I am coming myself to you as you, revealing who I am so that you may know who you are. Christmas is about recommitting our lives to Christ, to light, to love. Identifying and dealing with the demons our chaotic world pretty much forces us to regularly entertain, and reminding us of who we really are and who we can really become. What does that recommitment to Christ, to love, look like for you tonight? What does leaving the darkness and walking towards the light look like for you tonight? For let us not be deceived. We have not been abandoned. We've not been forgotten and left alone to malevolent forces that can only intimidate. But we have been redeemed and reminded of the royalty that has created, called, and equipped us to overcome the darkness. Whatever darkness you are facing today, Christmas is that light of hope that all is not finished and said and done. For the light chases out the darkness. No, we are not human beings having spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings having human experiences who on this holy night, our celebration of liberation, are invited to heed that clarion call born in heaven and echoed in our souls. Wake up, church. The dawn awaits. It is a new day. You have returned home, where we all love you, and all you have to do is show. Amen.